What's up guys, and welcome to the channel. It's Joanna here, founder and CEO of Supwell. Today we are diving into another shoe preview. On the slate, we got the Saucony Ride the Saucony Ride 17. You'll see why I just called it the Pegasus there, a little Freudian slip for you. So we got some brand new pictures of the Ride. It looks like in this version, they're going for a complete overhaul. We saw version 15 and 16 are pretty similar. Now in 17, we got a ground up redesign. So in this video, I'm gonna break down all the changes that we're seeing in this new 17, let you know where it might slot into the market, what kind of shoes it compares to, and whose rotation it's going to be best for. Let's get into it. The Saucony Ride is Saucony's standard everyday daily trainer that skews to the, let's say, conservative side of the equation. Version 16 saw them using a full-length power run midsole. Right here, I got the Saucony Endorphin Shift 3, which uses that power run, and it's a firmer, less responsive, but really planted and stable feeling ride that you're gonna get from the power run. Now, let's throw up the picture of the Saucony Ride 17 so you can feast your eyes on this one. We're seeing this one, it's a fully, completely changed from the ground up redesigned shoe, everything from the midsole to the upper to the design language. And version 17 is seeing them shift away from that staid and serious ride and move to a softer, bouncier ride with that Power Run Plus. If you look at Saucony's daily training lineup and marathon training lineup, they got the Saucony Triumph, which is their max cushion shoe. They got the Shift, which I just showed. And then they have the Saucony Endorphin Speed 3, which is using Power Run PB foam. Now, this Saucony Triumph is the only shoe in the lineup right now that is using that Power Run Plus that's gonna be seen in the next version of the Ride. We currently see the Ride priced at $140, which is pretty competitive to the market. Compared to daily trainers like the Pegasus and the Adizero SL, it's pretty in line with that. There's a slight price premium. The Adizero SL is $120 and the Nike Pegasus is $130, so the Ride slots in above that at $140. In terms of release date, this should be releasing sometime early next year in that late winter to early spring range, sometime between February and April 2024. So first up, we got the design. This is gonna be an all new design language that we're seeing from Saucony, and they're not carrying over what we're seeing in the version 15 and 16 of the Riding Guide. So in this version 17 of the Ride, they've gone away from that smooth, swoopy design language and shifted to a more, let's say, Nike-esque design language. I mean, if you look at the profile of the new Ride and you look at the profile of the Pegasus, they're almost identical, especially in this heel area. And I'll throw up a picture of a comparison of the Peg 37 and the new Ride, because these things are, it's almost like Saucony just completely copy and pasted the design from the Peg 37 onto the new Ride. Now, Nike has great design shoes. Their performance has been maybe lacking over the past few years, but the designs are awesome. So I don't mind Saucony taking a page out of their book, but with the Shift, it's clear that they are drawing some inspiration from what's going down in Oregon. Yeah, aside from the sculpting of the midsole, they're also cleaning up the upper a little bit. Looks more modern, it looks refreshed, and we're not seeing as many flares with color as we're seeing in the Ride 16. Now, of course, we only have this white shoe right now, so we don't know what the other colorways are gonna look like, but it does look like they're going for a fresher, simpler design approach in the 17. All right, next up, let's dive into the midsole. So as I mentioned, they are using the same Power Run Plus foam that we see here in the Triumph. The previous iteration had that Power Run foam, which is an EVA-based compound. It's firmer, can be snappy when you push the pace, but it's not gonna give you a whole lot of pop or oomph. On the other end of the spectrum is this Triumph foam, the Power Run Plus. It's extremely bouncy, it's soft, it's beautiful, it's smooth as butter. It has every positive adjective you could possibly throw at a shoe, including lightweight. So I'm really excited to see Saucony using it in the next iteration of the Ride. And in the Ride, it looks like there's gonna be a full-length Power Run Plus midsole. From this picture, we can't exactly tell because the white that we're seeing, there's some shadows on it and there's some coloring, and they have the Power Run Plus only up on the blue part of the shoe. But I do think we're gonna see a full-length bed of that Power Run Plus foam. Now, it looks like stack height is gonna stay roughly the same. The Ride is already pretty tall. It has 35 millimeters of foam in the heel and 27 in the forefoot. The Triumph has 37 in the heel and 27 in the forefoot, so I don't think they're going to increase it that much more because it would be stealing share from the Triumph, but I do think they're going to keep that moderately cushioned platform. Now from the looks of it, it definitely seems like there's an 8 to 10 millimeter drop. There's a pretty big difference between what we're seeing in the heel and the forefoot. So that should mean this is a comfortable shoe for all types of foot strikes, whether you're a heel striker or a forefoot striker. All right, now let's get into the upper. So Saucony has some of my favorite uppers in the game. The one knock on them is they do have a slimmer profile. So this is the Saucony Endorphin Shift 3 that I have 350 miles in, and toward the end of its life I started getting some pain on the left side of my foot just because the toe box was pretty narrow, and that is something I would like them to work on. Even in shoes like the Shift, which have these really stretchy uppers, the last tends to be a bit on the narrower side. I'm assuming Saucony is going to use that same last in the Ride, but the benefit of the Ride being that mainstream daily trainer is it also does come in a dedicated wide width. So if you have a wider foot and you find Saucony's normal lasts to be a bit narrow, then you can go for that wide variant. It looks like the upper on this one is going to be an engineered mesh, similar to what we're seeing here on the Speed 3. This is one of the best uppers in the game, very breathable. Even on the Shift 3 and the Triumph, those uppers are excellent as well. And we do see some holes throughout for extra breathability. Now around the back, there's a moderate amount of padding. If we compare the Speed 3 and the Triumph, you'll see the Speed 3 does not have that much padding and the Triumph has significantly more through here. The Ride's gonna be somewhere in the middle of those two, nice and comfortable, a decent amount of padding, similar to what we're seeing here on the Audi Zero SL, where we got a really nice padded heel collar, but on the flexible side. Now in terms of what this shoe is gonna go up against, historically it did play in that more traditional, staid, conservative daily trainer market segment where we see shoes like the Audi Zero SL and the Nike Pegasus. Now with Saucony changing from that EVA based foam to that beaded TPU, that Power Run Plus, that soft and bouncy foam, this is going to shift the market a little bit for where the Ride is going to be competing. So instead of those shoes, Audi Zero SL, Pegasus, and maybe even the Brooks Ghost I'd throw in that category, we're going to see Saucony targeting shoes like the Nova Blast with this, the Cloud Surfer, maybe even want to say the Mach 5 a little bit, right? That lightweight, bouncy type of feeling. So Saucony is definitely going to a different market segment. We should see the weight lightening a bit up on this again too, because that EVA foam that we're seeing in the Shift and which we're seeing in the previous version of the Ride, that's going to be a bit heavier than that Power Run Plus, which we have here in the Triumph, and that's going to be in the new Ride 17. Current weight is 8.8 ounces. Looking to drop that maybe to low 8s is my guess with this. We'll have to see how much padding is in the upper, and again, we'll have to see if it's a full length bed of that Power Run Plus, because it is possible that they're using Power Run in the heel for stability. Now, what leads me to believe they are not using Power Run in the heel for stability is they're putting more differentiation between the Ride and the Guide in this next iteration. So I'll have a video coming out soon on the Guide 17 and where that's looking to play, but they've completely shifted the design language of these two. They've completely shifted the construction of the midsoles. Previously, the Guide had just a stability chassis around the upper essentially, but the rest of the elements came from the Ride. In the new version, we're seeing the Guide take on a whole life of its own and rework the entire midsole, not use the same one at all as the Ride. So it's possible that they're saying, hey, let's make the Ride more of its own thing. Let's make the Guide more of its own thing. Ride could use that Power Run Plus, Guide could use that Power Run. And that's my guess of how they're gonna change it up between those two. In terms of who this is going to be best for, that's going to be for the runner who likes that softer feel for their daily miles. The current Ride, because it is that firmer platform, you can pick up the pace a bit more in it. It's good for those workouts where you're going to have some strides maybe. The new Ride looks like maybe it's not going to be the best for faster work. We'll have to see how the Power Run Plus performs in it in that lower stack height than in the Triumph. But in the Triumph with that 27 millimeters up front, I prefer to use this as just that nice and easy pace cruiser. Don't really want to push it too much. We'll have to see how it performs in the Ride 17, but my guess is it'll be a more relaxed shoe than the current version. All right guys, so there you have it. That is everything we know right now on the Ride 17. I will let you know as soon as I get more details on this one. Really interesting shoe with that new edition of Power Run Plus. As always, thank you for watching, thank you for liking and subscribing, and I'll make sure to keep you up to date on the latest and greatest in the world of performance running.